Hi, welcome to Apache Hadoop 3x course. I'm Abhishek Sakhuja from Updegree, and in this video we are going to do a lab setup. But before starting up the lab setup, there are some prerequisites that we are going to talk about in this video. So let's see what do we need for our lab. The first thing that you should be having a RAM which is of minimum 8 GB, because here in this lab what we are going to do, we are not going to do a single node setup, it will be a multi-node. We are going to start with 3 machines, and each machine would require a 1.5 GB of the memory. You can actually set it lower, but if you're going to set lower, then running an application would be tough. So minimum 1.5 GB would be required for each of the machine. So if we set of 3 machines, then of course we would require 4.5 GB, and you will have the other resources which is running on your machine. So 8 GB becomes a minimum requirement for this lab. You can use any of the operating system that you are running on. If you're running Windows, you're running Mac, you're running Ubuntu, you can just do this lab with any of your operating systems. We would require a minimum of 45 GB in your hard disk, because each of the machines that we are going to set up, we are going to assign a 50 GB of hard disk space. Remember that you can customize your RAM at later stage, say about like you set it at 1 GB and then you would like to make changes at 1.5 or 2 GB at a later stage. That you can do, but you cannot do with the hard disk, because hard disk is once set, you have to actually drop that machine and create a new machine with a bigger hard drive space. So make sure that we set sufficient amount of hard disk when we are doing for the first time. Then we would need an Oracle VirtualBox, because we are going to set up a virtual environment. We are going to create 3 different machines, and that will be done using Oracle VirtualBox. If you're comfortable with VMware, go ahead and use VMware as well. But in this lab environment, we are going to see with Oracle VirtualBox, because the setup steps may be different, but once we start with Ubuntu with our lab, then definitely it will be exactly the same. And the operating systems to run Hadoop 3x, we are using the open source, which is Ubuntu 16.04. If you are really comfortable with Red Hat or CentOS, you can actually go ahead and use that as well. But remember the commands that we are going to use to set up the basic requirements, for example Java, doing other kinds of installation within Ubuntu, the supporting requirement for Hadoop 3x, that would be the command for installation would be different in CentOS and Red Hat. Because there we use yum repositories, and here we are going to use apt-get repositories. So make sure if you're doing that, then you need to just find a way that how the equivalent command will be used in CentOS and Red Hat for the same package that we are going on Ubuntu. After that, once we have the Hadoop, it doesn't matter whether it's Ubuntu, Red Hat or CentOS, because you just need to make sure it has the Linux environment. That's it. You just need to download these Ubuntu 16.04 ISO, Oracle VirtualBox. You already, of course, you'll have hard disk and RAM, but where we can go ahead and download this Oracle VirtualBox and Ubuntu. So you just go to internet and type Ubuntu 16.04 ISO image. Once you do this, the first link that you'll be able to see is where you can download the Ubuntu image. Whatever your operating systems, you can just select the operating system. Of course, it will show you by your operating system image as well. Take the desktop image, do not take the server installed image. And if your machine is 64-bit or your machine is 32-bit, you can just click and download the ISO file, irrespective of the operating system you are using. So this is for your Ubuntu ISO image, and then you need to download for Oracle VirtualBox. So you just give Oracle VirtualBox download, and the first link itself will make you go to the downloads of Oracle. You click on it, and according to your operating system you can select the version. For example, I have Mac. If you have Linux, you can use Linux. If you have Solaris, you can use Solaris, and if you have Windows, you can use Windows. So let's say click on Mac, and once you click, it will just ask you to download. You download the software, double click on it, and the normal procedure that you do for other softwares is the same. Once it is downloaded, and then we can get started with creating the virtual environment. So these are the 2 things which you required initially to do the lab setup. So that's what we have in the session, and in the next session we are actually going to take a look how we are going to set a virtual environment on Oracle VirtualBox. Thank you.